Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading session. I trust everybody had a nice, relaxing weekend. Mine could have been a little longer. I don't know what it is about weekends. My wife always gets so much stuff going on the weekend. All right, so the market's just opened up. Let's take a look here what's been going on in the overnight. We'll take a look at the Raptor. And it doesn't look like very much, really. The market left off here. A little bit of a rally in the London Open, and then the market declined. So it's going to look like a little bit of an opening gap here. Nothing too terribly serious, though. All right, so just trying to get a handle on what's going on here. I think they may be trying to get into that gap. We'll give them a little bit of a chance here to set up. Okay, we're back here into the hard edge now, so we should anticipate some sort of reaction. The Falcon actually getting a little bit more bullish and producing a trend change signal. All right. Okay, well, looks like all these yellow bars here are not being very helpful. Fairly quiet start on the session, really. What's looking to be most promising right now is this hard edge bounce on the eagle. We'll see if that gets lower and flips over the ATR. I might try to throw a single on there, or at least dial down the risk amount a little bit. Let's see if I get on the other side of that and here. Yeah, I'm looking at just doing a single anyhow. So pretty quiet at the moment here in the NQ. Soybeans and crude oil also a little bit on the quiet side. Crude oil made a nice move out of the open. Here's crude oil on the Falcon. We'll take a look at that. So it opened right about here, got a nice signal, and good follow through on that. You can see we're just sitting on one of the secondary support lines at the moment. But crude looking like it is getting ready to head lower today. Oops, and here's that signal. Can I still get in on it? No. So I was waiting for the ATR to flip over. Here's our signal. This is the bar that changed the ATR over, so that effectively now becomes my signal bar. Oops. Yes, I can't do that. We'll see if it retreats a little bit. I'll try to re-enter there. Otherwise, we may have to wait for a first micro-macro cross signal or something. Isn't that always the way? Just when you look away, that's when the market makes some sort of move. So if we get through this support area here, it looks like 4401, our next most likely target, at least according to our support and resistance suite. Okay, we've got a first micro-macro cross signal here now on the hawk. Problem with this one is covering the trade, right? We don't want to cover it too tight, even though there could be good initial momentum. The problem here is leaving ourselves enough room so that we don't get stopped on a reversal. What I might do is I'll see if I can take this down to 4401. So I've canceled my profit order. Come on, down you go. taking a little heat on that first micro-macro cross trade. We should see them try to recover somewhere through here. Falcon working on a trend change signal. And the trend change signal, quite simply, when the trend line changes color, here's the down portion. This has changed the trend line color. Here's the up. Now we're looking for the down, for the resumption of the trend. All right, our trade moving into a possible macro pullback situation now on the hawk. So you see how these bars here are getting wider again. Oh, now we're into yellow bars. That's not what I was expecting. These yellow bars are going to be problematic. If we had seen a macro pullback develop here, that would have been a little bit of a stronger signal. Right now, they're really going to make a run now to our stop loss, and they're probably going to hit it too. So they never really gave us a chance to recover on this trade, which is not fair. Normally, somewhere through here, they give us a chance to at least adjust our stops. So that was unfortunate. All right, so they don't want to head lower. Let's see how they feel about going higher. You know, the worst part is, I think we might have been on the right side of that trade. We were just unable to ride out that swing. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just kind of a quiet morning. We just got to wait a little bit longer. We tried to short it, that first micro macro cross. Very rare that we see those fail. Okay, so they've pretty much gotten back into that opening range gap now. All right, now we're getting a first micro macro cross to the top, but you know what? I'm a little bit leery right now. We just haven't seen any real commitment one way or the other. And even though we don't have a lot of yellow bars here on the hawk just yet, it does look like it's a very range-bound market. Besides, well, I suppose this may have been the test of the extreme. I was going to say we haven't really seen a test of the extreme yet. And I might anticipate that to retreat somewhat because of that. However, you could make a case that this here was the test of the extreme. Even though it got below, the fact that it failed and went through the highs here, through that swing high, may in fact make that the test of the extreme on this particular move. Jim says the DAX is selling off a little bit. And according to the advanced decline numbers, we're about a negative 700, 750, give or take. Look at the width of some of these bars. There's definitely some volume associated with these particular prices. And now we're back at or near the highs. So we pretty much filled the opening range gap. Not missing much in crude oil, but it does look as though maybe soybeans are setting up for a particular move to the downside. They've retraced. Here's soybeans now on the hawk. We've seen soybeans come down. They've done their little test retest type thing where they've broken down. Now they've come back. They're retesting, and we're getting a green bar sell. Now, as you know, with the green bar sell, we can trade it a couple of ways. We can trade the failure of the green bar sell, in which case we would buy, and that's always a safe trade. Or we can go with the trend. Now, I don't think I want to get involved too early here, so I'll probably look at, entering below the low of this current bar, or even waiting for this current bar to finish and entering below the low of that. But there's a feasible trade on soybeans. We'll see whether soybeans gains any traction this morning. They have been a little bit quiet of late. Thanks, Jim. Jim still giving me some advanced decline numbers here. So we're still about a negative 700 overall. 1,000 on the buy, 1,700 on the sell. That should be bearish on the surface, but we have seen the market advance on negative advanced decline numbers, that's for sure. A little bit of resistance near the highs. Sorry, I wish there was more to comment on, but there's just nothing going on here at the moment. They all seem pretty content with things the way they are. In which case we may just see prices continue to waffle. We're back up at the kind of the highs of the last week, Friday's highs. Got a little bit of a spike here in the buying on the Geiger counter, but we're also getting a selling spike. If it were just a buying spike at a resistance point, I'd say that's a blow-off of the buyers. Okay, working on a possible trend change again here into a macro pullback. I think we're just going to see them continue to waffle a little bit here. We'll see if we can't pick up on a trade, perhaps to the downside. Okay, so you see our macro pullback has since failed. We're into yellow bars. Problem is we're back into the hard edge. I'd be all over selling this if it wasn't for the hard edge. Okay, we'll see whether we get a red bar buy here. That would confirm what we're seeing on the Falcon, also a possible trend change. Okay, it's getting there. This hard edge still going to be problematic though. Yeah, now we're back into yellow bars. That spoiled our first micro macro cross lower. Just a tough day overall. See, even the Geiger counter just waffling back and forth. working on a green bar sell, which could be a failure here of the test of the extreme. Not a lot of structure here at the moment, however. The good thing about a trade like this, though, is if you're going to take the green bar sell, you know you can risk it above the high, right? If you're going to look for the market to head a little bit lower here. Otherwise, what you can do is you can set up for the failure to take the market long. And usually what I do with the green bar sells too, because they're a lower probability signal, I'll very often just go in with a onesie. And if we get filled here, what I'll do is I will cancel the profit taking order to see if there's any chance that we might turn this into a little bit of a runner. But right now, there's not a whole lot to talk about. We are getting a hard edge bounce here on the eagle. So we're getting conflicting signals between the eagle and the hawk. I'm not going to double up on the position. But you can see even here on the eagle, like we're waffling, right? There's no real direction. I've mentioned this before, but you know, if you look at your chart and it starts in the upper left, goes to the bottom right, you have a downtrend. If it starts in the bottom right, bottom left, upper right, it's an uptrend. And if you have more than two of these on a chart, you have no trend. And that's more or less where we're at right now. So the NQ here with the eagle, this would have become our signal bar. Overnight highs. This is the high of the session so far. Okay, so our green bar sell disappeared. It actually became a yellow bar sell, which is a signal we would avoid. And here we are now with the first micro macro cross. Doggone it if they just don't keep throwing that in there. Come on, get down there. Get back into yellow bars. That'll make me feel a little better. Just confirm that we really don't have much direction today in the marketplace. All right, here's the first micro macro cross signal now on the hawk. And I'm not real keen on buying at the highs, but if I did, it would look something like this. Now watch it take off, because I said I'm not keen on buying. You can tell from our day ranger, our ranges are compressing somewhat. So we've gone from nearly a 300 point range a month ago to just under a 200 point range. So all I did there was cancel my profit taking order. A lot of times when I have a onesie on, I'll try to have a runner in play. And actually the better place to cover this trade is a few dollars further below those lows. At least until we see some sort of reaction. And I think I'm going to get ready with a bar high-low type thing, and I'm going to be pretty aggressive on this one, I think. Where's our support and resistance suite? Oh, that's why. We're kicking off of the median line here. That's giving us a little bit of resistance. So we would have hit our first profit target. I'm rolling the trade to break even now. Are you going to give me any more? Come on, get going. Okay, well they got us on the pullback, but that's all right. It's just that kind of day. Jim says everything's made a new high except for the bank index. We'll see whether that causes them to tail off a little bit here. Okay, working our way back to a macro pullback situation here on the Hawk. Boy, this is almost like the summertime when it's so very slow. Election day here in Canada today. I don't know what it is about politics lately. Well, I guess maybe it's not lately, but they've become so very heated. You know, you just can't talk politics with anybody anymore. Everybody gets so uptight. I'm just checking the reports and things that might be due out today, and I don't see anything that might spark the market at all. We're just about to our profit target here on our soybean trade. We took a little bit of heat, or sorry, almost to our break-even target on our soybean trade. You could start to roll stops a little bit if you chose, or even just take the open profit. Nothing wrong with that. $150 staring you in the face. You know, it ain't profit until you bank it. Okay, back into yellow bars, which spoil that macro pullback signal. A lot of volume at this resistance level. You see that? The width of these bars with the dynamic equivolume bars, how fat they are. There's a lot of market participation at this particular price level. All right, starting to turn over a little bit, getting that first micro macro cross signal right back down at the old support level. This is, of course, where the buyers rallied the market up before. So we could fully anticipate that they're going to rally the market again. Same problem as we had the last time we were here. Looking for some follow through. Now, the more aggressive entry is to take it right here where the hash mark is likely to print. The more conservative entry is to take it below the lows. If they fail here at the lows, they do have a lot of room to run. You know, even back to where were this morning's lows, around 44.10, I think. Yeah, 44.11, 44.10. There's certainly some room here. But look at this bar. Look at how fat these bars are. Look at the volume that has gone through on this support level. There is some serious buying going on. All right, so we've got our hash mark. No slippage, which is nice. Again, a lot of volume going on in these few bars here, and that's to be anticipated because of the support right down here near the lows, or this swing low. There they go, come on. Just take out that low. There we go. There we go. Okay, well then, oops, can't do that. No, don't hit me on the break even. Come on. Get going. I'm thinking even 44.20 would be a nice little run for this leg of the move. No, they're not going to give it to me. Stinkers. They're going to try to get into a macro pullback here in a second. Jim says he was short the YM at 74 for a very long time. 8 contracts. He says, phew, out at 65, he's up nine ticks. You know what? That's not bad on a day like today. Here, let's pull the YM over here. So Jim ended up selling 74 probably way back here. Where are you? 74. Oh, right about here. Took a little bit of a retracement. And finally got out of the trade. Yeah, it's just that kind of day. It's very little follow through. They're going to tap me here in a sec. Stinkers. Well, that's going to work itself into a macro pullback. I really thought we might see it slip down here, maybe to 44.20 and then go into a macro pullback, but didn't happen that way. It's the bottom of the hour now, and we've been trading for an hour with no real solid opportunity. I guess the only one that really had any follow through to it was this first micro macro cross after the failure of this one. But after that, it's just kind of been blah. This first micro macro cross also hit its target, but I was trying to stretch it out a little bit. I got cute. Soybeans slowly making their way lower. Oh, and there we go. We just hit our profit target on our soybean trade, so at least soybeans being a little bit more cooperative. Okay, here they come again, just waffling back and forth. You know, quite honestly, I'm a little leery about some of these signals. I know we had a red bar buy down here on the Eagle, and that tends to be a very high probability signal. But we're getting conflicting messages here on our other tools. You know, we're not getting any follow through on the Falcon signals. Uh, well, we might be getting a cloud crossover here on the Raptor. We'll see whether that gives us any support. And then the Hawk, you know, showing yellow bars and stuff again. It's admittedly, though, we are getting a first micro macro cross signal here on the Hawk. The advanced decline getting a little bit more even, almost 1,300 on the buy and 1,600 on the sell. So what's that, about a negative 300, 350? When you're trading, you can use each of the tools independently, of course, but it doesn't hurt to kind of take them in context also. If they fail here, there's a very good chance they'll head lower, because we're getting our test of the extreme. This isn't something I mention very often, but when you get a signal on your hawk, you can also trade the failure of the signal. I don't mention it to you because I don't want you looking for too many counter trend signals. As you can see, the first micro macro cross, I think, just hit its profit objective. Yeah, it's just kissing the profit target. But let's set up and see what happens if we get a failure of the first micro macro cross signal. So essentially, this is our first micro macro cross signal, and I'm looking to short it now. This is how the signal's set up. If it fails below here, then I'll sell it. As prices continue to waffle. Nice thing about this type of trade is that you're able to cover above the highs. It will be very obvious whether we're on the wrong side of this position. The not so nice part about this trade is that it is counter trend. Right? Counter trend trades always are more difficult to trade. But we are a little bit overextended here. And you can see we got a fair amount of volume coming through again. Well, Jim says he's watching the DAX and it has a good hangman type formation. So again, suggesting some weakness in the market. For those of you following the DAX, you can see our profit objective is going to be right here where the macro line is. Big surprise there. That's how we get our macro pullback signals. And here too, I'm going to be a little bit more ambitious on this and see if I can't run this one out a little bit. I will leave my break-even trigger in play. And once we hit the break-even, I'll leave the trade alone. And in fact, what I'll do is here we go. We'll do one of those, and I'm going to be right back. This is one way to avoid tweaking yourself out of a trade. I'll be right back, folks. Okay, I'm back. Oh, and it looks like got down, hit our break-even target, and got tagged. Well, it was worth a try. You know, a lot of times if the market doesn't want to go with that initial momentum, it's just not going to go. So we may as well take that break even when we get it. Might get one more retest here. See, we've got our test of the extreme now. We did print one signal against the hard edge. Got a test of the extreme here on the Raptor already. And the Falcon is trying to give us an early trend change signal. So there's continued suggestion here that the market may unwind lower. We'll see whether we get a signal here on the Raptor that we can take advantage of. And maybe not. Yeah, there they go. They're starting to react to the hard edge again. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just that kind of day. You know, the market is waffling. It's going to continue to waffle. If I had to pick, I think the bears are going to have the upper hand. And I base that on this test of the extreme right here that we just saw. So here's the high of this morning's session. The market came down, recovered off of support, came up, but failed to make a new high. That tells me that the sellers have a little bit more control right now. So I would be a little suspicious of the rallies and maybe just give the slightest edge to the buyers, or pardon me, to the sellers. And I think on that note, we'll button up the room. But do be cautious because, you know, here's our range on the day. And the market is pretty content to waffle within there. So we may not see any pronounced move until we actually get above those highs or below those lows. All right, you guys, I will catch up with you again tomorrow morning. Hopefully the market will be a little bit more cooperative at that time. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.